What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Thank you for watching Sportsbook Review. This is Betting with the Bag, Wednesday, January 29th, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. We have a packed card. We have 6 NHL games, 6 NBA games, a huge NCAA basketball card, and then we will be going over Super Bowl props with Teddy Covers. We have Parlay Poppy joining us in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 20 minutes after that, 15 minutes after that, Teddy Covers will be joining us. And then 35 minutes after that, we will be joined by Maxwell Smart. Max hit his play of the day yesterday. He had a rough day overall, 5-10, down 5.72 units. Still a profitable season for him. And we have all the records to show that. And he's hit his play of the day 5 out of the last 6 PODs. The taint struck again. Matt Randall with another winner. Lamont Williams hit his 2-team parlay. Mark Unkefer hit his play of the day. And Prince of the City hit his tennis stripper palooza play of the day, amongst other winners. Nice job for everybody in the chat. I went 1-0 in NHL, 2-0 in NBA, but 2-5 in NCAA basketball, which was disappointing. Shout out to all the cappers in the chat. Ready to get after. There's Mark Unkefer right there. Mark Unkefer hit his play of the day yesterday. Jason Fritz, Dave Burke. My guy Dave Berkey in the house. Neil P. Paul Costa, backdoor cover. Cobra Sports 69. Paul Costa's NBA card today looks too easy. Wow, I did not feel that when I broke it down. I've only made one play so far, and it's on NHL. Canascat in the house. We got Rod Zawacki. Catch another 10-star play with the Blues. And 10-star plays, 5-1 last 6 days. Way to go, Rod Zawacki. There's Nilo in the house. Rod Zawacki says, fade Indy tonight or no play for me. Yeah, I would like to fade Indy. I think that more money will be coming on Indy. It was 8.5, got to 9. I was like, should I make the move now or should I wait? I'm not sure exactly what to do because, these weekday games in Indianapolis are usually very quiet. And tonight's going to be sold out. Prime time DJS in the house tonight. Looking good. Sippy boy in the house. Where's the best place to find NBA injury updates? Lots of different spots for that. I use Roto World personally, but there's lots of different spots for that. Serious Business, Mitch Bruner, Jay Stone, Rye Cape, Jimmy Gomez, Randy C, Julian Cesario, Ben Sports 24/7, Ernesto Fidalgo, Von Polo, Raul Porwando, Miss Raul Porwando, nice to see you. Alex Ramirez, star of the Spidey, play of the day. Richard Lee, let's get after it right now. NHL Parlay Bagger, Prince of the City, there he is, gave you winners. Yes, you did. David Chamilio, Gabriel Hernandez, Lance LaRose, Yo in the house. Eric Nisbet, great to see Eric Nisbet rocking with us. ACS 1013 says, let's go. I'm feeling a good day today. There's Slats 45, 2-0 last night in NHL Sabres over in Eichel to score. Great job. All right, let's get after it right now. Brian Watson, Caleb Lewis. There's Not Flush Allen. 2 more days left of training, then I'm back full time. Miss all of you guys, and life just not the same without the show. I'm listening to the replays every day. Much love to you, Not Flush Allen. Claudio S. says, Jimmy, did you only make one move in NHL today so far? Yes, but there may be more to come. And AM says it's Quack's birthday today. I need a birthday play for her. Absolutely. Let's copy and paste that. The best mother-son capping team that we have in the low bag family right there. AM plus money and his mom Coactus. Coactus' birthday today. Happy birthday, Coactus. You've raised a great young man whom we love dearly in AM plus money, and happy birthday to you. It takes a great mom to raise great children. All right, let's get after it. Before we introduce and bring in our Parlay Poppy, let's put up my NHL record. It moved up by 1 unit. There's Sharif Talat in the house. RMK, beautiful. We are RMK, right in time for NHL. Let's go. It's not where I want it to be. I've been eating in front of you guys. This is my 3rd year of NHL, and I destroyed the last 2 years and just hovering above sea level right now. There's Ulysses Hayes. We got a great group. Let's introduce star of our show here, NHL handicapper, amongst other sports, the pride of Long Beach, California. Please welcome to the show, Parlay Poppy. Parlay Poppy, how you doing on this Wednesday morning?
What's poppin', everybody? Man, I had a very rough night yesterday. Not only the ice, but the hardwood. This is probably my worst night last night in the past 3 months. Lost multiple units, lots of tears, lots of angers. My vocal cords somehow magically recovered, Jimmy the Bag. I think sometimes you just got to scream and cry and things get better, and then you booze yourself to sleep. That's exactly what happened last night. But we're up fresh and ready, capping the whole damn card, ready to make some cash buck, Jimmy the Bag. Let's get it right, popping right now.
Let's get after it. Let's put up the best odds page on the planet. If you want to help this show, I will never sell you anything in my entire life. That's one thing I can promise you. I will never sell you anything. But if you want to help me, you can hit the link at the bottom of the page, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. That would be a big help for me. All right, and for this show, Parlay Poppy, let's get after it. We don't have a ton of time. We are going to start on the ice with a marquee matchup, Predators, Capitals. Capitals open up at -170. Money start coming in on the Predators. This total opened up at 6.5, juiced to the under. There's been a 7-cent move to the over, but it's still at 6.5, and it's still juiced more to the under than to the over. I initially was going to make a move on Predators first period, but to do that, I have to be rewarded. And I did not think plus 135 was a suitable reward for getting in the way of the Washington Capitals. They are bringing Alexander Ovechkin back in the lineup after a one-game suspension for sitting out the All-Star game. Capitals, without him winning, Montreal beat the Habs 4-2 on Monday. 8 goals in his past 3 games, consecutive hat-tricks for the great 8. Capitals won 4 straight. Predators have lost 3 of their last 4. A major disappointment, and pride of Vancouver, Ryan Johansson, has just disappointed all of us from the 604, -5, 10 goals, 27 points. That's not how you get big contracts, Ryan Johansson. He's on a $6 million per, for like 8 years that he signed in 2017. They've scored 1 power play goal in their last 6 games. Not a good hockey team, 74% penalty kill. Capitals power play is only at 20.5%, not the 30 that you would expect it to be at. Take it away. I'm expecting Rene versus Holtby. That it could change. Are you making a move on this spot, Parlay Poppy?
Well, yeah, speaking of power play, the only silver lining, I guess you could say, with the Predators is the fact that they are better on the road on the power play, but that doesn't mean shit when you're giving up 31% of chances, Jimmy, on the road, these Nashville Predators on the power play. That's not going to work out despite this Washington Capitals team struggling on the power play. I mean, here's the problem. Besides the real lack of goal scoring by Nashville, over the past month, it's more alarming the PDO, the medium metric of where we can see where puck luck is at. It's where it should be. They're not getting lucky and they're not getting unlucky. In their offense, expected goals field is at 54%, meaning the offensive guys are doing the right thing. It's the defense. It's the goaltending that's a problem here. Rene hovering around career lows, and Saros is right there with them, dragging this team down. And let's face it, Holtby is not the starter. I mean, he is the starter on the Capitals. He should not be the starter. It should be Samsonov. And Samsonov is definitely the future of this club. I don't really trust Holtby all that much. And with Nashville coming off that beatdown from Toronto, I expect there to be goals scored. Now, Nashville has dominated this matchup in the past, but this is not Nashville that looks very potent right now. Holtby's still susceptible. We know both these teams are capable on offense. And I found a 6, although that was at 6.5 earlier. I found a 6 at -120. I think that's a good look right now. I think over 6 at -120 for both these teams to get some offense going is going to be a play for me, Jimmy the Bag. Over 6, -120.
Good work getting a 6. Good work. I am not going to be, I just need to be rewarded for getting in the way of the Capitals home. I really thought I'd get a plus 160 or 155 for the Predators. I thought we could be looking at a minus 180, plus 160. The Predators have been better on the road than they have been at home this year, but I was surprised to not get that. And if I'm not going to get rewarded, I'm not going to put my money on the line with the Preds, and I don't want the Caps at this price. So that's it. Nothing for me. Preds, Capitals. Are you doing anything official on this spot other than the over 6 at minus 120?
No, I mean, the price is definitely appealing for the Capitals. Jimmy, yes, I would agree. We got to lay off if we're getting this type of price for Nashville. If anything, this actually favors the Capitals more.
I agree. I absolutely agree. But I do fear the Preds in this type of situation. Dav Fedden says this Preds team seems a lot worse in the last couple of years. Can't even win at home, and they would always win at home before. I agree. Tomorino leading to Ovechkin's shot prop over. He should come out strong. I wonder what that is, Tomor. If you can let us know what his shot prop is. All right, let's keep rolling on this card in NHL. Maple Leaf Stars next up. Let's see what this market is telling us. Dallas opening up at minus 113. They're a 2-cent move towards them. They're now minus 115. The 6 has not moved. It's moved 1 cent to the over, but it's still juiced to the under. Frederick Anderson, Ben Bishop, Leafs penalty killing bad. Stars power play is getting better. 19.1% power play right now. Toronto had 1 win in 6 outings before beating up on Nashville on Monday after the All-Star break. William Nylander, 4-game goal scoring streak. Austin Matthews continues to roll, and Jamie Benn got me right in the old prison pocket on Monday. Usually he doesn't come out of breaks focused. He certainly did. Maybe it's because he's having a bad year. He can't rest on his laurels. 2 goals in that 3-2 win over Tampa on Monday. Leaf Stars, I have not made a move. Have you, Poppy?
This is a tricky game, very tricky game. We know the deficiencies on Toronto's blue line has cost them so many games. Third period especially. They've fielded 62 goals and allowed 61 goals. That's why we see a bunch of teams come back against the Maple Leafs late. Frederick Anderson definitely looks a little bit better than he was, but still, I mean, this team is only killing, 26.5 power. They got a 26.5% excuse me, power play kill on the road. This offense is always live on Toronto, and the majority of the goals on the road are scored on the road, so they're scoring more on the road than at home. I really don't take much from that game against Nashville. Nashville is a completely floundering squad right now. Speaking of floundering squads, Dallas Stars limping into All-Star break, yet showed more focus, in my opinion, on that Monday night win against the Lightning. And we know Dallas can only play one style. And the coach and players are saying our offense is a work in progress. We're committed to mainly keeping out the puck of the net. So that's the mentality and mantra of the Dallas Stars, has been for years. Very difficult spot. That's not something that I really want to take into my handicap. Seeing this line so very tight, I lean Dallas, but I'm definitely not getting into the window. This is going to be really interesting to see, especially because Rupe Hines may be out, and that is one of the leading goal scorers on the Dallas Stars. This is a pass for me, Jimmy.
It's a pass for me, but I certainly lean towards Dallas. But I'm afraid to get in the way of the Leafs. Should I be afraid? Probably not. Stars are 16-7-2. Maple Leafs feeling good about themselves. I feel like the Stars might be the look here. Tommy says Dallas isn't the kind of high-powered offense Toronto's had issues with.
Exactly. It's like, how do you back a team right now that has 8 goals in their last 5 games in Dallas? I mean, Bishop and Khudobin are pretty interchangeable, but this just seems like a very tricky spot for me.
Yeah, it does. Tata Booker on the Stars. Lamont Williams in our chat. Great work on your parlay last night, Lamont. I may make a move on the Stars. Let's go into the Battle of Alberta. Flames, Oilers. We might need to speed it up a little bit here. Oilers opening up at minus 119. They're now at minus 120. Oilers 12-8-3 at home. I'm expecting Talbot and Smith to be between the pipes. This is a game that's a little bit overshadowed by this Tkachuk-Cassian rivalry, which I love very, very much. Flames on the second half of back-to-back, losing 5-4 shootout against the Blues last night. Calgary 1-2-1 over the last 4, and the Oilers bringing Matt Benning back after missing 20 games with the concussion. Flames, Oilers, Battle of Alberta. You making a move here, Poppy?
No, lots of drama, right, between these clubs, especially with the Cassian thing. And Talbot's not going back-to-back today. It's going to be Rittich, who's actually been better on the road. All things considered, I don't know what to do with this game. I would lean Edmonton just due to the fact that I think that these clubs are very similar, and Calgary still has problems scoring despite lighting it up a little bit yesterday. I don't trust it, and I think that the home team should be the favorite, and when they actually go back to Calgary, Calgary should be the favorite, and that's in 2 days. So there's nothing here. It's a little bit dramatic for me. I don't have an angle at all in this game.
Yeah, I wonder if with this pressure and with the Flames coming out with a ugly defensive performance, maybe the under is in play.
Rittich has won the 3 of the 4 in the last year against the Oilers, too. So he's got a lot of experience against this lineup, which is basically the same in the Oilers.
Yeah, I wonder if I should make a move there. I'm close to making a move. I expect this to be a, very high-intensity game. Both teams right in that playoff hunt. Okay, I have a lean. I may make a move on the under shortly, but I don't want to hum and haw. Rafa, unfortunately, can we push Teddy back 3 minutes? 3 minutes. Let's go into Coyotes, Ducks, Arizona, Anaheim. Arizona opening up at minus 125 and now minus 118. This total actually opened up, surprisingly, at Pinnacle at 5. It is at 5 at BetOnline, 5 at Intertops. The over's minus 140. It's up to 5.5 now, where the under is minus 135. Ranta, Gibson, Coyotes looking for their first playoff appearance in 8 years. They haven't played since 7-3 loss to Edmonton. I like that. I like teams that have a game under their belt after the break, and that's simply the reason why I'm not on the Coyotes here. Have you made a move on this game?
No, definitely a much-needed break for the Coyotes in that clusterfuck Pacific Western Division, losing 5 of 6, 10 full days of rest. I absolutely wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks win this game, given the fact that we know Ranta has been lit up lately. That Aiden Hill-Ranta combination is not working out. They really need Kemper back to get back into contention in that top spot over there in the Pacific. But they look pretty vulnerable. Especially on the road when they were so dominant before. 1 game over the 500 mark now on the road. Losing 6 of 9 on the road against Western teams, Jimmy. I would not back Arizona in this spot. Wouldn't be surprised if the Ducks win completely off this game on the side or total.
I like Tomarino, Rod, Zawacki, both on the Yotes. I've got futures on the Yotes. Tomarino says Arizona's cleaned up against weak teams, struggled against top teams. Rod Zawacki giving us a final score of 3-1. And we got Ill Wise joining us. Ill Wise. Trotwam, let me copy and paste Trotwam's action. Thank you for sharing with us, Trotwam. Let's go on to the one play I've already made this morning. I jumped on the under in this Lightning Kings game. After the loss to the Stars, there was a lot of lamenting in the Lightning dressing room about the amount of odd man rushes that they gave up and how it was unacceptable. I expect them to tighten up against a team with no speed whatsoever. And then we have a Kings team that will be rusty. The one thing that you can count on this slow plodding Kings group is to dump and chase, keep the puck in the opposing end as much as possible, but not in any dangerous areas. I think the under 6 is in play here. Let's see what's happening with the market in this move. A slight move to the under, but it's a pick 'em at most spots. Vasilevsky up against Quick. Vasilevsky's winning streak 10-game winning streak came to an end against the Stars. Kings haven't played a home game in 3 weeks. They've been playing bad. 7 of their past 8 losses, 11 of 14 losses. Lightning coming off 3-2 overtime losses, we said on Monday. Just 2-2 in their final 4 games before the break, so now they're just 2-3. I'm on the under 6 here, Lightning Kings. I think the Lightning are going to shut them down, but they're too big of a favorite for me to take on a -1 or a puck line. Lightning Kings, you making a move here?
No, I don't disagree with your look on the under, but at the same time, this could be a spot where the Kings absolutely get thrashed. Really interesting situation here regarding Drew Doughty. This guy's been on an absolute marathon man, Ironman sprint since 2014. He has not missed a game. This is his 460th game, and there's an issue going on with him today that he may miss this game, and that will be the first game in 6 years, Jimmy. So could this team maybe rally around that, being the fact that he may or may not play? If he does play, I expect the team to be absolutely stoked, and if he doesn't, I expect them to try to rally as well. So that's kind of why I'm leaning off the Lightning side, which I originally leaned in regulation. I wouldn't disagree with the under. I actually think this might be a pretty intense game, given the circumstances we just discussed, but I don't have a side or an angle that I'd like enough to bet, Jimmy.
Well, do you have one on this final game on the card? I think I might pull the trigger on a couple of my leans. Canucks, Sharks. I thought that money would be pouring in on these on these Canucks, and that I might get a nice price on the Sharks at home. That's not happened. The Canucks were a lukewarm favorite in the morning, like by a cent or two. Now the Sharks are lukewarm favorites. The Sharks always have the Canucks number right now, but this is a different Canucks squad, first place in the Pacific Division. The Sharks opened up their post-All-Star break with a 4-2 win over the Ducks. You know, they're still missing Logan Couture. The Canucks are playing good hockey. They beat the Stanley Cup champions 3-1. And it's not like they go in thinking they're going up against the last place team, because this has been a house of horrors for the Canucks over the years. So they're going to come in sharp. I'm off this spot. Ulysses Hayes on Sharks money line. Did you make a move on Lightning Kings? Or excuse me, did you make a move on Canucks Sharks?
You're right, actually leaning under here. With Vancouver being so dominant at home, they actually do struggle on the road, sub 500 on the road. But they have dominated non-contending teams on the road in this position. And with Vancouver's duo with Markstrom and Demko settling down a little bit, and Aaron Dell not doing so horrible, but that's more due to the fact that I think that the defense is playing better in front of it, not because Aaron Dell is making some spectacular saves. Although he has had a couple, pretty athletic performances where he looked really good. I may be pulling a trigger on the under. I think the Canucks are live. We did see a little flip-flop in the morning, but that's nothing significant. I'm really leaning an under here, Jimmy. I'm going to take a little bit more time before we pull the trigger on that, but that's where I'm looking right now.
Ginrami got up early and hammered the Sharks at plus 101. Great job. Lance LaRose giving a final score of 3-2. All right, I'm going to make a move on these. I think these leans, not the Predators first period, obviously. I think that there's just too much value on the Dallas Stars here at home. And I'm going to take them. Even without Ruby, I'm going to take them. Minus 115. I just find that too appealing right now. 16-7-2 at home against the Leafs teams. That's 14-11 on the road. I'm going to make a move on the Stars at minus 115. And then I am going to make a move on this under in Calgary, Edmonton. I expect this to be a very hard-fought hockey game, and the under 6 is a move I'm going to make. Could you review your plays, and then I'll review mine, Parlay Poppy?
Yes, we'll be going on the Capitals over 6. This has just trended heavily over. Both teams do have offense, despite the Predators not scoring too much. Both goaltenders and defensive lines can be thrashed a bit. So we're going to go over 6 minus 120. I think you may still be able to get that number. And I'm also leaning heavy to the under on the Canucks game. I'm going to take a little bit more time before I tweet that out. But our official play of the day is going to be the over 6 minus 120 on the Capitals, Jimmy.
I love it. And I am on the Stars at minus 115, the under 6 in Flames Oilers at minus 103, and the under 6 in Lightning Kings at minus 104. Follow this man on Twitter at Poppy_parlay. Love having you on this show, Poppy. Thank you for sharing your hard work with us, my friend. Let's have a profitable Wednesday.
Let's get back at it. Last night was rough. We got to get the cash buck with those Capitals over 6 today. You can always find me at Poppy_parlay. And hey, you don't have to like me, but like the damn show. Click the like button and click the little link right under so you can get Jimmy the bag to not get evicted, kicked out into the streets, and perhaps see him in Costa Rica on the streets with no teeth. That's a nightmare, and I really don't want that to happen to him, my man. So I will see you guys next week. Peace out. Bye-bye. Good luck.
You are a good man, Parlay Poppy. We go right from one good man to another good man. Please welcome to the show, live from Las Vegas, Nevada, Teddy Covers in the house. Teddy, how are you doing on this Wednesday morning?
I'm doing all right, Jimmy. How about yourself?
Doing well, 1-0 in NHL, 2-0 in NBA. I ended up pulling the trigger, but I was good waiting. I pulled the trigger near the end, about 30 minutes before tip-off on the Celtics Heat under. And after that first quarter, I thought I was in great jeopardy, but a 37-point second quarter, I started loving life. 1-0 in NHL, 2-0 in NBA, but then 2-5 in NCAA basketball. So those are only half unit plays. So I did have a profitable night, but could have been a perfect night had I stayed off the college basketball card. We're very excited about your prop action, Super Bowl prop action, but I'd like to close up with that. I'd like your help to break down this NBA card if you would be so kind to walk through these games with us, Teddy. Is that cool?
Absolutely.
Beautiful. Shout out to all the cappers. We are, the team is uniting. We got Von Polo, Take It Easy, Carlos Baroche, Eric Jones, Nasty Nate, Joseph Gomez. All right, let's get after it. So this is a spot, Teddy, that I was thinking of you. But I also thought, man, could we get a better line as we wait throughout the day? And that was the Chicago Bulls. And that's exactly what we got. I could have gone in. It opened 8.5. I could have gone in at 9s across the board, but I was like, you know what? Weekday sellout in Indianapolis. Now there's 9.5s on the board, but I still am pensive about pulling the trigger. Bulls Pacers. This total opened up at 214. You can get it up at 214.5 at some books, or down at 213.5 at other books. You just moved theirs from 214 to 213.5. Bulls 8-15 on the road. Pacers 17-5 at home. But this is all about Victor Oladipo making his season debut. Will be on a minutes restriction. Indiana coming off 139-129 loss at Portland on Sunday night. They had no Malcolm Brogdon. He's missed 2 straight games in concussion protocol. Teddy, I don't know if you know if he will be in the lineup. Miles Turner missed that game with an illness. That concluded a 3-2 road trip. Not bad. Pacers have beaten the Bulls 7 straight times. They've beaten them 10 out of 11 times. Bulls are coming off 110-109 win at home over the Spurs on Monday night. Consecutive victories for the first time since mid-December. Levine goes for 14 of his 23 in the fourth quarter. 15 straight 20-point games. Denzel Valentine. There was a Denzel Valentine sighting. He puts up 16 points season high. Dunn looks good. Chicago 5-1 when Luke Cornett scores in double figures. Bulls pace last 5 20th. Pacers pace last 5 26th. Teddy Covers, are you going to make a move on the Bulls this evening?
I'm not at the current price. I don't think I will. And it's just because Chicago's coming off the back-to-back wins. And again, this was a team that went into that game against the Spurs 2-16 off a straight-up win. So now they have back-to-back wins. It's difficult for me to expect another A game from the Bulls. And of course, they got, I'm not going to say lucky to win against San Antonio, but they certainly made the plays down the stretch of that ball game. And of course, DeRozan missed the free throw with 0.2 seconds left that allowed the game to end on 1 instead of going into overtime. But it shows again how difficult it is for Chicago to close out games. They've had problems doing that all year long. I could only take the Bulls in this game. And frankly, if 10's probably my strike price. If I see a 10 on Chicago, I'm in. We don't want Indiana in the first game home off a successful road trip. Even off the loss in Portland, it was a good road trip for the Pacers. And when you talk about Oladipo and putting him in the lineup that's already clicking, a lineup that's already in excellent current form, you're talking about changing rotations. You're talking about changing minutes. You're talking about changing responsibilities. It's your classic bet against situation. So I wouldn't talk anyone out of betting Chicago tonight. I haven't pulled the trigger there myself yet, although I might before tip-off. And of course, we don't know yet if Brogdon's going to play for the Pacers or Turner. And those are 2 pretty key pieces, especially when you're talking about changing roles and transitioning roles from where they've been. Yeah, it's Chicago or pass, but right now, it's still in the pass category for me. 10, I buy.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty shrewd assessment right there. And big shout out to our Joey Nisi, a.k.a. Joey Work. In-game parlay, Blues plus 280, Auburn plus 275, and Zverev plus 120 at plus 3035, 3035 parlay. Great stuff. And man, I was very scared when I came on the show yesterday as my record had gone down to plus 1.74 units. I believe it was 1.74. But can you pop up my record very quickly, Rafa? Because a couple winners last night, keeping my head above that horrifying minus unit mark. But I want to keep grinding. I want to keep rolling. We also got Jay Money in the chat, star of Jammin' with Jay Money, that is on right after this show. Great to have you, Jay. And Nasty Nate in capital letters says, don't bet Bulls. Teddy, let's move on to the next spot. Pistons, Nets. Talk about all these moving pieces and still everybody feeling the effects of the loss of Kobe Bryant. And this game with Brooklyn. I mean, Brooklyn has so many players so heavily connected to Kobe. Brooklyn opening up at -6. Pinnacles moved it to 7. This total went from 223.5. Teddy shot all the way up to 227.5. These are Pinnacle opening lines. Pistons 8-15 on the road. Nets have been so bad of late. They've been so bad. 3-13 in their last 16 games. They've looked poor. Pistons pace last 5, 18th in the NBA. Nets pace last 5, 7th in the NBA. Nets just 11-12 at home. So last Saturday, these teams played. Brooklyn broke a 5-game losing streak, 121-111 victory over in Detroit. Kyrie goes for 45, and then the very next day, Kyrie doing his pregame shooting at MSG, and he hears about Kobe, and he was mentored by Kobe. He leaves the arena, doesn't play. Kenny Atkinson talks about the emotion in the locker room, how there was not a word spoken for 3 hours, and then he wasn't able to say any words. He wasn't able to fix anything. And then you have guys like Dinwiddie, who grew up in South Central. It says everything. Kobe was everything to his generation. So it's unclear if Irving will play. It's unclear how the Nets are going to be for the time being. Detroit's lost 3 straight, all by double digits. They're 5-10 since Blake Griffin left done for the season with another knee injury, so he can focus on comedy as he prefers to do. Pistons are also 6-16 in their last 22 games. They're just a bad basketball team, and they're even worse without Derrick Rose, who missed the last game with right knee soreness, so they get crushed by the Cavaliers. There's no Luke Kennard, there's no Tony Snell, and then when Rose isn't in the lineup, this team is absolute trash. Teddy, what do we do here? A lot of moving parts, Pistons, Nets.
Yeah, so let's update some of the injury information / sickness information. What I've got Snell upgraded to probable for the Pistons. He was sick. He had the bout of the flu. It looks like he's better. Derrick Rose has a sore knee. He's upgraded to probable for tonight. Drummond is the big question mark for the Pistons. And he's a pretty big question mark. We don't know if he's going to go or night. For Brooklyn, I've got Kyrie upgraded to probable for tonight. And again, you nailed it. And then Jordan as well. DeAndre Jordan upgraded to probable. He's been in and out of the lineup in recent weeks, and he's not an impact player ATS. But when they have Jordan and Jared Allen, you don't get anything in the paint against the Nets for 48 minutes. Both those guys are pretty good rim protectors. So when these teams played last Saturday, and I was lucky, I had a ticket on the Nets in my pocket. The game went into overtime. Rose made a heck of a drive to send it to OT, and then the Nets dominated the extra session and blew out Detroit. So it's a short turnaround revenge for the Pistons off a game where they thought that they, an overtime loss at home, which certainly from a psychological standpoint matters, but Brooklyn at 3-13, a lot of that schedule related. I mean, it really is. They were up against it. They, 5 straight games where they played not just contenders, you can call them top 5 teams. Now that the schedule is easing for the Nets and coming off that bad loss to the Knicks, the no-show game, the game where they had no emotion, you talk about Atkinson's quotes. I can understand why Brooklyn's taking money as a favorite today. That could be the only way I would look here. But, of course, with Rose back in the lineup, the back door is always open for Brooklyn, and the fact that the Pistons just lost this game, against the Nets just a few days ago in bitter fashion, maybe there's a little extra edge in the Pistons step. And I don't know if I'm super excited about laying, 6.5, 7 with a Nets team that hasn't been winning. So if I had to play, it would be Brooklyn, but it's not one that I have to play.
Yeah. What is your expectation of Kyrie coming off of the death of Kobe?
50 points. Kyrie over tonight.
Yeah, and Prince of the City saying Kyrie prop tonight. He will take every shot. He will take every shot. Let's just take a quick look at what we're dealing with for this Kyrie prop and whether that's a move that should be made immediately. Let's move over to Brooklyn, Detroit, and player props. And at Bet365, they're giving you Kyrie at 25.5. That seems like
I only play it over. I sure wouldn't play it under. I'll put it that way. I would not be surprised to see Kyrie channel a little Kobe tonight. We've heard player after player around the league going off in the last 48 hours. And they're all like, yeah, well, Kobe did it. Oh, we rallied back from 21 down with 17 seconds left. Kobe did it, We're seeing a lot of that around the league. And Kyrie, obviously, with a very close personal relationship with Kobe, I would not be surprised if he has a big night tonight.
All right, I'm on that right now. That's my first play on the card. I realize that I need to bet these during the show because 2 days ago when we made these prop bets, I went over to my desk after the show. They'd moved 2 points each. In fact, Karl-Anthony Towns, which ended up being a loser, didn't move 2 points. It moved a point. But the juice went from a minus 110 to minus 150 on the extra point. So I'm going to be making a move on this right away. Okay, let's keep rolling. Next up, Teddy, Grizzlies, Knicks, and thank you, Prince of the City, for mentioning that. Thank you. And Don Reed says, why don't you think it works the other way? He's so distraught. His head isn't in the game. I hate that to be the reason to bet something. Because when I've watched my teammates go through deaths, it was sports that just kept their head together. And so we don't need to get in those situations or talk about those, but it was just sports that it was like let me just go back to the court where I can be free. My head can be clear. But I hear what you're saying, and there's no reason not to bring up that possibility, Dom. So it's important to look at both spots. All right, let's keep rolling along right now. Grizzlies, Knicks is the next spot on this card. Great call with the Grizzlies yesterday. Memphis, New York. Memphis opening up as 2-point favorites, now 2.5-point favorites. Fishy. 224 is the total. It's gone down to 223 or 222.5. Knicks pace last 5, 30th in the NBA. They're both coming off back-to-backs. And the Grizz are just 2.5-point favorites. Grizz can get to 500 with the win. It seems like they've got they've got every reason to fight in this game and not take the Knicks lightly. Grizz beat the Nuggets 104-96 on Tuesday. Yesterday, Knicks lost 97-92 to Charlotte yesterday. Grizz have won 10 of their last 13. First 10-win month for Memphis since December of 2016. They hold a 2.5-game lead over the Spurs. And the Grizz are 4-2 in the second half of back-to-backs. The Knicks are 1-5 in the second half of back-to-backs. Why is this just a 2.5-point spread? And have you gone back to the well with the Grizzlies?
Well, I mean, my powering number here is only 1.5, which annoys the you-know-what out of me. So, at 2.5 looks cheap. That's where the number's supposed to be. When you factor in power rating for the two teams and home court edge and all of that, this is the appropriate number. And it hasn't skyrocketed. Like I said, my hard number is 1.5. So to see 2.5 is not, is not a situation where you're like, oh wow, the number's so low. It's where it's supposed to be. And it's not like the Knicks are playing particularly awful basketball of late. They're not winning a whole lot of games. They've been competitive. I've seen signs from the Knicks. Now, do I trust them on the second night of back-to-backs against a playoff team that's playing for 500? I do not. It's a Memphis or pass game for me. But everyone's seeing that. Memphis is the public play in the NBA today. I wouldn't talk anyone out of it, but it's not one that's going to make my card.
Yeah, no, I get that. And I can understand not going back to the well immediately. Okay, let's keep rolling. Reese says, Knicks on the back-to-back as well. Who do you trust more? Grizz. Look, I get it. I just feel like NBA is a sport where when something looks too good to be true, it is. Let's move on to Jazz at Spurs, Utah, San Antonio. And the reason why I bring that up is because I always say that's not the case in NHL. When something looks too good to be true, no, just take it and cash with it. But I don't think that in NBA. Jazz, Spurs, but I fear NBA. I have NBA nightmares. I don't have NHL nightmares. All right, let's move on to Jazz Spurs right now. Jazz open up at -5.5. It's down to 5. There is still 5.5 at Heritage. It's total at 220. Has gone up to 221 at Pinnacle. It's 220.5 at most other books. 221 at BetOnline and 221 at Heritage. Jazz pace last 5, 19th in the NBA. Spurs pace last 5, 24th in the NBA. Teddy already alluded to that missed foul shot by D-Row. Although he had 36 points in that game, he missed that foul shot with 0.2 seconds left to lose to the Bulls. And then the Jazz. And I forget who was in the chat. I need to go back, but there's one guy in the chat saying this is just a situation where a team will step up together. And when you think the Jazz are a sure thing, the Rockets will beat them outright. And I forget who it was who said that in the chat, but man, was that true. Gordon goes off for 50. That career high, he broke his career high. It was 8 years ago that he had his last career high. Wow. Without Westbrook, without Capella, without Harden, the Jazz shockingly lose. Do they bounce back here on the road and beat the Spurs, Teddy?
So the problem with Utah right now, they're priced sky high, all right? I mean, my number on this game, again, 2.5/3, and the markets are at 5, 5.5 on the Jazz. And it's not like I'm looking at Utah as being, that I've got Utah way weaker than the markets do. I got San Antonio way better. The Jazz have been through a pretty strong point spread run over the last 2 months. They did the same thing last year, and the markets, they're just not giving you any bargains on Utah right now. So based on the spread alone, I can only look at the dog here. Do I want the dog? I'm not thrilled about San Antonio. The Spurs, off back-to-back losses. You talked about the DeRozan miss that cost them the opportunity to win in Chicago. And Pop wasn't pleased with the performance after the game. He's like, the Bulls played for 48 minutes. We played in stretches. I wouldn't be surprised if San Antonio comes with max effort tonight. Does that matter? Is that going to be enough to beat Utah? Maybe. I mean, Jazz are a tough team to step in front of right now, but I would not be surprised at all to see the Spurs give them a battle. If I'm playing the game, it'd be San Antonio plus before it was Utah minus.
And Aldridge is being confirmed out, so he will be out of this game. So more Jakob Poeltl, whom I like. What do you think?
Yeah, Poeltl can play.
Yeah. And then you'll get more Trey Lyles, a little bit of DeMar Carroll, Rudy Gay will move to the 4. Aldridge has become so slow. I still like him, but he's become so slow. Tom Marino says, I think the best value is Utah first quarter off a bad loss. What do you think about Utah very early in this game?
I mean, my lean is San Antonio. My lean is not Utah. And I'm talking about how I think the Jazz are a little bit overpriced right now. I'm not going to talk you out of it, but I'm not looking in that direction.
All right, let's keep rolling along right now. Thunder Kings. Thunder Kings is the next spot on our card. Oklahoma City opens up at -3. It's 3 or 3.5. This total opened up at 220.5, and now we have 222 here. Chris Paul was in Los Angeles for his daughter's recital, and he's very close with Kobe. He, gets the news, and then, he doesn't want to play in that game on Monday. And, everybody deals with this stuff differently, and there's no right or wrong answer. The Thunder pace last 5 12th in the NBA. Kings pace last 5 25th in the NBA. And you already alluded to that spectacular comeback. And Buddy Hield, wearing number 24, they do something that no one had done since they started following this stat. I didn't realize that. When I told you, Teddy, that they were 0 and 8,330 or 830 or whatever that was, like over 8,000. I didn't realize that was when they started the stat. So we don't know. We don't know if it's ever been done really before. And the Kings, they funnel Black Mamba and they, do the spectacular. I'm expecting Chris Paul will be back. I don't know if you know that. That was his first missed game of the year. And Steven Adams is still slowed by a left ankle injury. What do the Kings do after that spectacular performance? And do you have a lean on Thunder Kings?
Oh yeah, this is the biggest bet I've made. I made a big bet on this game. I'll just put it that way. And I laid 3 with Oklahoma City. From a spot standpoint, it doesn't get a whole lot better, does it? We have OKC, who's a good team, off a bad home loss in which Paul didn't play. We have Sacramento, who is not a good team. They're off back-to-back wins, including the ultimate, we just stole this game once in every 8,379 times it happens. And brutal beat, obviously. I mean, if you had Minnesota, that's as tough as it gets. You're up 17 with less than 3 to play. You expect to cash those. Sacramento also stole the game when they played OKC the first time. I think they scored the last 11 or last 12 to win, steal it right at the end, which, again, they're capable of doing. Returning home off the trip, off that win, this is a bet against team, all right? And the fact they're down 17 with 3 to play against a bad team like Minnesota, it tells you what you need to know right there. I mean, this is a lottery team that isn't playing consistent basketball, and once in a while they get hot. There's not a strong home court edge for Sacto. And we have OKC focused. We have Chris Paul, who I think will be very focused tonight. Thunder off a loss. Thunder having blown a game to this team already. Yeah, OKC to me is a very clear choice. It's a stronger bet as I've seen probably in 2020.
Wow. Give me goosebumps there. Strongest bet in 2020, I get goosebumps.
In NBA, I don't think I've seen anything better this month. I mean, it really stood out. This one jumped at me, and my number was a good notch or 2 higher. So we like it.
Yeah, we like it. Yes, we like it. Okay. Ski Prophet driving in his car. He wants to pull over. He's like, yes, Teddy, yes. Screaming. Okay. All right. Well, I'm in. -3 still at Pinnacle. That's only 2 books have a 3 right now. Bet Online and Pinnacle -3 and -110. I'm sold. All right, let's move on. Next up, Teddy, Rockets, Blazers. Final game on this card. Rockets open up at -1.5, now 2 or 2.5. I don't know if you guys know if Harden will be in the lineup or not right now. Missed back-to-back games. What I read was we'll know at some point before tip-off. He'd been struggling of late, shooting 55 of 158 over his last, how many games? 8 games, 34.8% from the field. Rockets, Blazers, Lillard going off, 158 points over his last 3 games. First Blazer to score over 40 points in 3 straight games. Eric Gordon coming off that 50-point monster night. Wow. And then we're dealing with this Blazers team that looks like they're about to get Nurkic back, and McCollum 28 points against Indiana after missing 3 games with an ankle injury. There's so many moving parts in this basketball card. It's very fun to cap. Are you making a move on Rockets Blazers?
Yeah, I mean, Portland's a little bit of a hard team for me right now. They really are. I haven't had a great read on the Blazers in recent weeks when I'm like, okay, they're done. That's when they come up and play well. And then I say, all right, they're playing good. Let's ride Portland. And then they lay an egg. There's a quote, a Lillard quote. I'm just trying to track it down. It really stood out to me. Okay, here we go. I just know that it's to the point in the season where we got to start winning. We got to have a nice run to get that last spot or one of the last 2 spots. Here's the key. If it don't start happening now, it's not going to happen. I've just been trying to come in sharp and make it happen. That's the type of quote you file in the back of your head. And you remember it. If the Blazers make a run right here, they may well be bet on. You know, they certainly have underachieved to their talent level at hand with Nurkic. And as you mentioned, he's back in practice. He will be joining them in the not too distant future, and he's going to make them a lot better. They desperately need him in terms of a low post presence. They've had nothing in the low post all year. So Portland's a team that absolutely has the upside to make a pretty significant run over the back half of the campaign. That quote from Lillard tells us that if they're not making that run, they might be a straight fade down the stretch. So this is one of those games that you kind of pay attention to in the sense of Blazers come out and win this game, momentum forward. Blazers come out and lose another one, they might well be a bet against. So I'm viewing this as a barometer game for Portland. It really is a type of game. And again, we don't know if Harden's going to play. We don't know if Capella's going to play. At this stage, this line could go in any direction based on who's available or not available for Houston tonight. But, you know, Portland's a team that I think we're going to make money with one way or the other down the stretch, whether it's betting on them or betting against them. And I don't know which one that's going to be yet.
Princess City asking what Lillard's threes are. They're 4.5, which is a very high total, so it's juiced to the under heavily. If you think he's going to get 5 threes tonight, you get the plus 110. It's minus 150 to the under. That's at Bet365. Sammy says easy pass. Interesting spot. Very, very interesting spot. And this money line for the Blazers has gone from plus 106 to plus 126, so a 20-cent move towards the Rockets. I wonder if the Blazers are the play here. I'm going to need a little bit more time on that. And we want to get into our Super Bowl props from Teddy Covers. So, Teddy, I've only made 2 moves. I ran with you on the Thunder, and I'm on the Kyrie Irving over 25.5 points at minus 115. What are your moves on this card?
So the one that I bet, and I bet strong, was OKC. I'm still in the wait for the number I'm looking for with Chicago right now. And that's likely all I'm going to have in the NBA tonight. But I'm waiting on Chicago. I'm down on the Thunder.
John Dean says best book for NBA player props. I really like Heritage because they give you options. If you got a 23 at one book, you can take it over 30 for a plus line, for a big plus line. So I like what Heritage does with their player props personally. Okay, that is what's up. And Oklahoma City is still -3 in a couple of different books. I'm waiting to see those move. Bet365 has moved it to 3.5. And Take It Easy says, let's go ahead with OKC -3 as well. All right, beautiful. Teddy, are you making any moves in NCAA basketball? Because we want to talk Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, to be perfectly honest, I did not give full shrift to the NCAA hoops card today because I was working on props all night. So there was one move that I'm still thinking about. I feel like I'm interested in Alabama plus at LSU, and I'm kind of interested in Penn State minus against Indiana. I haven't pulled the trigger on either. I haven't done full work on both those games. We'll do that as the day progresses. But that's two that caught my eye: Alabama plus and Penn State minus.
Alabama plus and Penn State minus. Okay, there we go. There we go. No worries, John Dean. Also, clicking on the link now. Perfect. Thank you, John Dean. Yeah, just click on that link at the bottom of the screen. Takes you to our best sportsbooks page. Thank you. That means so much to us here at the show. Okay, Teddy, the moment that everybody has been waiting for on the our YouTube page yesterday. This guy named Seattle Strike said, Jimmy, that dumbass. Now we're in a situation where we have to wait another day to hear Teddy's props. So Seattle Strike, you son of a bitch. Here you go. Here you go. Teddy Covers. Take it away. We're all very excited. Where do you want to start?
Sure. And I'll give you a bunch. And again, we can go through some of the. I'll go through a bunch today, and I'm still involved. And I still haven't made a bet on the game. Niners, Chiefs. So it's interesting as I'm going through the props without a strong opinion. And again, last week I was like, I'm leaning towards San Fran, then I lean back towards KC. Whatever I have in the game is going to be small and not important. The props are going to be my center stage on Sunday. So I bet a lot of the no scores. You can find no score first 5 minutes, no score first 6 minutes, no score first 6.5 minutes, no score versus 7 minutes. You'll get, obviously, you'll be laying juice with the no 5 minutes, no score in the first 5. You'll be getting a plus price by the 7. That one absolutely stood out to me. We have doesn't matter who gets the ball first. I continue to think that San Fran is going to try to control clock. They could get the ball first, march down the field, and score in the first drive, and still no score in the first 5, 6, 7 minutes. It's very reasonable to expect that. I have no problem anyone taking punt before score for either teams. Chiefs to punt before they score, Niners to punt before they score. But the no score in the first 5, 5.5, or 5, 6, 6.5, 7 minutes is one that, and again, I've got a little piece of all of those, some laying, some getting. That way, if they do score between 5 and 7 minutes in the first quarter, I'll at least cash something. But there's a lot of historical factors in that game. There's a way I expect San Fran to play. Super Bowls tend to start out a little bit slow. I have a yes on a 2-point conversion attempt at I got plus 155. The number right now I'm looking at is plus 130 as a prevailing number. It's the two coaches that'll take those shots, and I think we'll see somebody trailing. And again, we don't need to make it. I bet the attempt, not the successful 2-point conversion, even though the 2-point conversion is a bigger plus price. I think we'll see the attempt in this game. I've got the longest TD over and the shortest TD under. Shortest TD under 1.5 yards. Laid 120 with that. Longest TD 42.5 yards, I believe. Is that 47.5? I'm sorry, I can't read my chicken scratch, and I don't have my phone with me with all the bets on it. And that's a really big difference. But the concept is this. I think San Fran is going to take shots. I think KC is going to take shots. I think we're going to see a long touchdown in this game, maybe more. I also wouldn't be surprised at all to see a pass interference in the end zone. The Super Bowls have you go back, someone score from the 1-yard line. They do it almost every year in the Super Bowl. It's just the way it works. So I got shortest TD under 1.5, longest TD over, thinking that we'll see both opportunities during the game. I think San Fran's going to take shots. I've got Garoppolo over on a bunch of props. Garoppolo over, even though I'm flipping back and forth on the side. I do think the 49ers are going to be able to move the football against that Kansas City defense, and I think they're going to take shots. So I like Garoppolo over attempts. I like him over completions. I like him, and I really like him over passing yards. I think that might be the best of the bunch. 238.5 is the number that I got down on Garoppolo over. I'm not playing the game over because I think we're going to see longer, slower drives. I played total punts under 7.5. That's the way I'm getting at the under in this game. I'm a little nervous. I've got to get the over, I should say. I don't want to bet over mid-50s in a game that's likely to have shorter possession. With 9, 10, 11 possessions. This isn't going to be a 14-possession game for these teams. So if it's going to be fewer possession games and you want to bet over, you bet total punts under. 7.5 to me made a ton of sense. We have two coaches that will go for it on fourth downs, and they'll also kick field goals on fourth downs. Which is both teams will take the 3. Total punts under 7.5 made a ton of sense to me. When we think about some of the player props, Damian Williams, I talked about Garoppolo. I like Damian Williams over 29.5 receiving yards. That's one that makes a ton of sense to me. I think we're going to see. I trust the 49ers secondary, and I trust the 49ers coaching in that secondary to make sure that they're going to have to. Mahomes going to have to dump off some passes here. He's going to have to settle for some check down routes. And Williams, that's what he does. He's their check down guy. I think over 29.5 was. I thought that was cheap. Under 2.5 players to attempt with a passing attempt. Minus 150 on that prop. We saw Colquitt throw a pass in the regular season. We saw Sammy Watkins throw a pass in the regular. I don't think that anyone other than Garoppolo or Mahomes is going to throw a pass in this Super Bowl. This isn't one of these trick plays where someone's chucking it out. I don't think. And if I'm wrong, then I'm going to lose that bet at minus 150. But when you have the best, Kansas City's not going to let anyone throw besides Mahomes. I don't think that Watkins gets the pass here, and that's not what Shanahan does. It's not the MO for San Fran. So at minus 150, I thought that was relatively cheap, under 2.5 players to have a pass attempt.
Wow. I was feverishly taking notes. In fact, when you paused, I thought it was just a pause for more to come. That's why I was just staring there like this. Wow.
Well, there's more. Let me talk one more.
Sure.
Zion points versus Houston against Mostert carries. And I like Zion points, and that's minus 110. Zion scoring 20 now. And we don't know if Coleman might play, and I think San Fran is going to throw the football. So I'm definitely looking for ways to go under Mostert carries, and this to me stood out as a fun one. So Zion points to beat Mostert carries. That's one that I like a lot as well.
Wow, that's wild. Damian Williams over 29.5 receiving yards. That's one of my two. I'm only on two props right now, both Damian Williams. I'm on over 3.5 receptions and over 29.5 receiving yards. This is Teddy. No score first 5 minutes and 7 minutes. Punt before they score for each team. Yes on 2-point attempt. Teddy, what was the juice on the 2-point attempt?
So I got 155. The prevailing number now is like 130.
Okay.
Plus 130. That's a plus price on the will they attempt a 2-point conversion.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I love that. Not worrying about the 2-point conversion for the big score, but just the attempt to get there. That's my favorite. Guru Sports Bets loves your punt prop. Loves it. Says that's his favorite one of yours. Shortest TD under, longest TD over. Garoppolo overs, total punts under 7.5. As I said to Damian Williams, under 2.5 players to attempt to pass, and Zion points against Mostert carries. Wow, that was very fun to listen to, Teddy. Thank you for sharing all your hard work with us. Man, that was great. That was absolutely great. There we go. Teddy leaning towards Alabama plus and Penn State minus in college basketball. Hasn't pulled the trigger on any of those, and he did lead us to the window with the OKC Thunder. I should probably make that bet as soon as possible, too. I did already make the bet on Kyrie over 25.5 points. Rich Kemp loving that under 2.5 players to attempt a pass. And just absolutely love this. Absolutely love this. Thank you so much for sharing everything with us. Teddy can be seen here on Thursday and Friday as well. Monday through Friday here at Betting with the Bag. Follow this man on Twitter at Teddy_Covers. Teddy, have a spectacular Wednesday. Can't wait to work with you tomorrow.
I'm going to try to have a spectacular Wednesday, brother. You too. Best of luck out there, low baggers. Thank you so much. And where are you watching the game, Jimmy?
It's still up in the air. It's still up in the air. It's between a whorehouse or Liveline. So I'm not sure at this point if I'm going to choose to sit beside Flash in his apartment over a whorehouse. So we will see. We will see how it bangs out. Where are you watching it, Teddy?
So it looks like I'm going to be low key this year. A lot of times I'm out and about. I think I'm going to be at a house party with some buddies. So it should be a lot of fun, and maybe we'll have a couple of beers and relax and enjoy the game instead of being all stressed out and being on camera.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, and if it is, I think the whorehouse of choice looks like the Sports Lodge in downtown San Jose, or sitting beside Flash. All right,
Flash
Teddy.
is a good guy.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy. Thank you so much for joining us, Teddy. Enjoy your Wednesday. Can't wait to work with you tomorrow.
Look forward to it. Have a great night tonight, guys. Best of luck, low baggers, and thanks. Have a great day.
There he is, Teddy Covers. We go right to Teddy Covers to Maxwell Smart. Can you roll the intro, please, Rafa, my man?
It wasn't until 2018 that the diamond in the rough went from hooligan to king of the world.
The guy couldn't play for shit, dog. He was awful. But can he cap? Yes, he can.
Max, my man, coming off an off day for you, but your plays of the day are hot, and you still have a nice overall record. Can we drop Max's overall record? I was hoping that you'd pass that 50 games over 500, and I know you will get there probably by the end of the week. It's a fun mark to get to right there. There's Max overall season. Remember, that's missing 27 bets on Twitter before his Twitter account got the boot, and I hate that I don't have those. And best bets, hit 5 of his last 6. We are on the streak for best bets. Rafa, can you pop that up? Thank you, my friend. Max, how are you on this Wednesday morning? Max, we can't hear you, Max, my man. Sweet.
Yeah, I'm fine, Jim. Days like that happen, and this is a long-term investment in business, not a one-day fan show. So I'm good to go, and I found a bunch of spots that I would like to give out in additions. But yeah, it's a big card, a lot of value, a lot of line movement already. And looking forward to watching the games and seeing the results.
Max, my man, there's questions about this Army Bucknell spot. That's at halftime. Bucknell 25, Army 34. Do you have any direction for a live bet for the cappers in the chat?
The live bet that I made was a over 138 at plus 200. That was a live bet that I made at the half. I did say that I did like the over 73.5 more than 74.5 at straight juice, and I'm on Army full game, so that's already in question. But I've already cashed a first half under, and pushed on a team total first half. So I'm gonna finish hopefully up regardless at the end of this game.
And Max, you know, you have a rough day yesterday. You did have 2 dogs that won outright with Kent State, that won easily at +4, and Buffalo that won easily at +8. So there was still a lot of good. There was still a lot of good. All right, I'm going to start putting your plays on my worksheet. Why don't we start with why you are backing Baylor at -4 at -105?
Yeah, this is the number 1 team in the country. This is a team that plays very well early. They're working Tristan Clark back into the rotation, but I really don't think that it makes a difference whether he's in there or not. When you look at the first game that these guys played, definitely you can say that there is a revenge factor. You definitely think that with the pieces that Iowa State has, like Michael Jacobson and George Condon and Tyrese Halliburton, and of course Rasir Bolton, who's come on from Penn State as a transfer quite strongly. This is just a game where I think that Iowa State's going to have trouble scoring the basketball, even at home. I think that this Baylor team plays just fantastic perimeter defense. There's multiple guys that can score from different levels. They get in transition. And by the numbers, I still have Baylor winning this game by 8 or 9 points. So at this discounted price with the number 1 team in the nation, I hate going and using that reference. But in this case, who's going to stop Freddie Gillespie? Who's going to keep him off the boards? Who's going to be able to keep him out of the paint? I don't really know on Iowa State. So unless Iowa State has a really hot shooting game, this could be a similar result to the first meeting in Baylor's home gym.
George Cruz says Baylor. Yes, sir. Mark Uncle for Baylor is my play of the day. Why do you think it's moved down to 3.5 at Pinnacle and 5 dimes?
I think that there's definitely the familiarity now. The fact was Iowa State shot 6 for 23 from the 3-point line, and that's out of ordinary for them. I think that there's also some pretty bad turnovers by Tyrese Halliburton. And when he's making crucial turnovers and only going 2 for 12 from the field, playing the whole game, I don't think that is the recipe for any kind of Iowa State win. And let's also not forget Iowa State has a very horrendous loss already on the season to Florida A&M. And when you're talking about the number one team in the nation, you want to give me less than 2 buckets, or you want to give me 2 buckets, excuse me. Well, I think that it's a reasonable number to be betting the number one team in the nation once again.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Let's move on to another spot you're on. Another reason why you need to follow Max on Twitter. He jumps in on Vermont at -10. It's now up to 13.5 a bookmaker. And now this is a Pinnacle opener. I'm going to move over to 5 dimes. But Vermont on the road at New Hampshire. You got them at -10. Why are you on them there? And what do you think about jumping on at 13 or 13.5?
I personally don't jump on it at 13 or 13.5. This was like the maximum at 10. This is a real questionable play. For me, the more that I look at it and the more that I see this number rise, this is a New Hampshire team with Sean Sutherland that definitely can score the basketball. The question is, are they going to be able to score the basketball against a top 10 defense? And that's what UVM is. With UVM, there's always question marks. There's always question marks about what you're going to get offensively from them. And their record after scoring 90 points or more in a game isn't good, but I think that they're really finding some consistency. And at this number, it's more of a number play. From the eye test perspective, from watching Vermont in that game against Maine, I think that New Hampshire is a little more offensive, but they're very perimeter oriented. So that's one of Vermont's strengths on defense. I look for them to be able to really shut down the 3-point line against New Hampshire. And I think that when you can keep a team under 40% from the field, you always have a better chance of doing what you want to do on offense. It's going to really be a critical for Vermont to start early. This is a team that, by my estimations, has a 9-point advantage in the first half. So hopefully this is over at halftime. That's how I look at it.
Max, next up for you is Monmouth. You're on Monmouth on the road at St. Peter's. You got in on Monmouth at +2. You can't get that. It's only +1 right now. Why are you back in Monmouth on the road here?
Yeah, this is a Monmouth team that's just been filling my bankroll. Mustafa Traore, Ray Sinalvi, Dion Hammond. These are experienced guys that were the whooping boy last year, but now they're doing the whooping. I don't think that St. Peter's, even at home after that win against Niagara, deserved to be at this number. I had Monmouth as a 2.5-point favorite. So when I saw +2, you know what I did. When I look at this Monmouth team from a statistical perspective, they're going to shoot the ball back. They're going to shoot the basketball better. They're going to make more free throws. They're going to get to the free throw line with more frequency. And I think from a defensive perspective, they're going to be able to turn this St. Peter's team over. This is St. Peter's team that averages a lot of turnovers, more than I'm comfortable with, even at home. They can force them, but this is a better Monmouth team at handling the ball. They're going to pressure ball handlers. They're going to do a good job of protecting the rim from what I've watched. And I think that you're getting value with Monmouth even at +1. If you can get a plus money line price, I'd be hitting that as well. And as far as first halves, this is a team that definitely has an advantage in the first half by about 3 points. So get a +1 dog or a 0.5 point on the first half Monmouth. It's also worth a look.
I like it. Guru Sports Bets and Matt Randall also liking your Monmouth look. Let's move on to your next spot. It is Chattanooga. Chattanooga at Sanford. Chattanooga opening up at -3.5. Now 3s across the board. You got in at 2.5. I still haven't moved over 5 times. I'll do that now. Chattanooga, why are you backing them?
Yeah, this is another spot where I think that the numbers just really like Chattanooga. And then from a recent performance where Chattanooga beat Sanford by close to 30, or I think it was more. It's just really hard to get off this Chattanooga ride. I think that with Chattanooga, you've really seen Ramon Villa and David Jean-Baptiste do a very good job of being able to be consistent two-way players, and it really reflects in how this team plays defense and how they play into their offensive transition. They rebound quite well. They have good size with Rod Johnson and company down there. I think that when you look at this Chattanooga team, they get on you early. Sanford has troubles in first halves, whether it be on home court or on the road. And what does Chattanooga do? Chattanooga gets on you early. And that's what I'm expecting here tonight. I'm expecting Chattanooga to score 40. I'm expecting Sanford to struggle to get to 32. And I think that Chattanooga has an opportunity to put Sanford out just like they did in the first game and just like they did against Citadel. This is a Chattanooga team that I can't stress enough, starts really strong. And Sanford starts very weak. From a three-point shooting perspective, if Chattanooga is hitting anywhere close to 10 3-points in this game, they're winning this game by close to 10 points. So free throw line is a discrepancy, but I don't think it plays a factor in this matchup tonight.
Matt Randall also on Chattanooga. That's not his taint play of the day. That's the Sam Houston State over, but he's on Chattanooga as well. Back-to-back taint winners from our Matt Randall. Next up is UNC Greensboro. And Wendy Carducci in the chat says, UNC Greensboro, is it still a good play? Max gets in at 3.5. It's now all the way up to 6 or 5.5. Max, why do you like UNC Greensboro on the road at Western Carolina, and is there still value?
No, there's no value anymore, in my opinion. I think that at the number for the matchup and what you're going to get defensively from Greensboro and what you're going to get from pace and tempo-wise from Western Carolina, at the number it made sense. Now we're playing with fire, in my opinion, here, because this is a Western Carolina team that can very easily win this game outright and give me the good old moldy brazoule and a frickin' baguette. But when I look at this Western Carolina team, they have what it takes to beat a Greensboro team that plays at the pace and tempo that they do. It's going to be incredibly important, as always, for Greensboro to protect the rim and keep their big men and their rebounding advantage on the floor. If Isaiah Miller has an off shooting night, this is going to be an ass clencher from minute 1 to minute 40. When you look at Western Carolina, it's very important that you stop Mason Faulkner early. This is their lead horse. This is a Western Carolina team that if you can get them into foul trouble, it is going to benefit you throughout the game. This is a team that does not play with that much depth by my estimations, and they're going to run their starters out there a lot. And I think that's where you have to get on them. Greensboro, unfortunately, isn't really shooting a high amount of volume free throws, where I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of that. I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of the fact that they are going to be able to shoot the three ball against this Western Carolina team. I think that they're going to be able to score 2-point buckets, get second chance opportunities, and get to easy spaces on the court to score the basketball. That is where they're best. When James Dickey has his little freaking hook shot, when Kyron Galloway has his 10-footer on the baseline, those are the types of weapons that you need against Western Carolina. Slower the better. And I think that Greensboro is going to see what Western Carolina has done as of lately and how much they've grown this year with Mason Faulkner, and they're going to take this game as seriously as they take a game against Furman or Wofford.
I like it. Max is on 5 sides to start off his card. UNC Greensboro -3.5, Monmouth +2, Chattanooga -2.5, Baylor -4, and Vermont -10, beating market moves. Max, we're going to go into your additions, but let's start with an interesting game and a question from our Viper MB. He's wondering what you think about this Alabama LSU spot. We already heard from Teddy Covers that he was interested in Alabama plus points. He had not pulled the trigger. LSU, 22nd ranked LSU, opening up at -4, now 5s and 5.5 on the board. Only 5s at Pinnacle and Bookmaker and Intertops. What do you think of LSU at home here?
Yeah, by my numbers, I would have this game at LSU -3.5. So no value from an LSU side. It would probably be Alabama or a pass. I think that's going to be really important for John Petty and Kira Lewis to get off to a good start and for Alabama to get their pace and tempo in this game. I think that without Jashawn Davis up front, I think that really handicaps you when it comes to dealing with the depth in the front court that Louisiana State has. I think that this game is going to be an up and down game. I think that Alabama gets their tempo. I look at Alabama with the points.
Alabama with the points. Interesting. All right, Max, it is time for you to start laying in your additions. If there's any questions in the chat, lay them in there, and I will offer them up to Max. Max, take it away, my friend. Additions.
Okay, so basically my additions were like my plays of the day that I thought had the most value. And just as a reminder of yesterday, Buffalo team total and Virginia Tech under both hit, but Missouri under did not hit. We know why that happened. I won't bring that bullshit up. My first addition is going to be a game we already talked about, is Chattanooga first half. That's a simple play. We've already talked about it. We can just you can just line shot for me, Jim, and then we can move on to the next one.
Sure. I'm just answering a quick question there. Okay. Let's get your first half Chattanooga right now. Here we go. Let's go get there fast by doing this. Okay, first half Chattanooga. There is -1.5. There's no -1s. The best -1.5 is at -110.
Yep, that's fine, Jim.
All right, take it away.
Okay, so we're going to go to this Holy Cross Navy game. What have we seen from Holy Cross? Holy Cross cannot save themselves, whether it be on the road or whether it be at home in the first half. I think that when you look at this Holy Cross team, it is a bit of a big number, but I think that Navy's capable of taking care of it. By my numbers, they cover this first half by a couple points. So I'm looking at Navy first half. If I can get 5.5 for the show, Jim, I think that Navy is able to exploit Holy Cross's lack of perimeter defense and three-point defense, get to the free throw line early, and really play their style and tempo game similar to how Army plays.
Next up, we have Navy first half. It's just 6s across the board. How's that sound?
Okay, I'll take the 6.
The best juice we can give you is -113 at Pinnacle.
All right, that works for me.
Navy first half -6 at -113. All right, keep it rolling, Max.
Okay, so we're going to go back to a game that we're going to double up on Baylor. We're going to take Baylor first half. If this game's meant to be, we're going to know early, and we're going to know because Baylor took advantage of the first half where they have a +5 advantage versus Iowa State where they have been very inefficient in the first half, and they've had to rely on coming back in the second. Pretty much this is just a number play. Baylor first half, if I can get them at -2.
You can get them at -2. Baylor first half -2 at -105 is the best spot on the card. We're going to split this up, Max. We're going to have you keep rolling with your action, but we're going to split it up here. We still have at least 12 minutes to rock with. We have a question from our Neil P., and you know these teams intimately. Let's talk about California Baptist, Utah Valley. Oh, shit, I'm still on first half. Let me get to full games, spread and totals. There we go. Okay, here we go. Cal Baptist, Utah Valley. Utah Valley, Cal Baptist opening up as a pick'em. It's still a pick'em at some books. Some books, Pinnacle and 5 dimes have moved Utah Valley to -1. This total opened up at 144. It's now 144 and for 145. What's the move here, Cal Baptist, Utah Valley?
Yeah, this is a spot that I actually have my play of the day on. So I will talk about the full game. I will say this. Cal Baptist is ascending. Utah Valley is definitely diminishing at this point. I think that when you look at UVU's point per game allowed, it just doesn't fit stopping Cal Baptist, who's a team that ranks in the top 25 in points per game in D1. When you look at Cal Baptist, now they have Zach Parag emerging in the front court, and they're playing very good defense. I think that the lines have been on point with them, but this is a spot where this could be Cal Baptist's chance to finally get some get some revenge against UVU because they've never beat them in the previous 2 games. So
Great answer. What's your next addition?
okay, so my next addition is Marquette first half. I think that Marquette wins this game. I think that Marquette definitely has to come out strong in the beginning. I think that when you look at Xavier's first half numbers versus Marquette, Marquette definitely has been able to start fast on the road. They've been able to start fast at home. I think that coming off some questionable performances, I think that Marquette has matchup advantages from a tempo perspective, and I think that they take advantage of it early. So let me get Marquette first half. I know that we're missing the best of the number, but if you really want to get a good price, you take the money line. But for show purposes, I'm only going to take them on the spread first half.
All right, let's get it right now. Marquette first half. You're going to get a plus a half at minus 105. That's available at Pinnacle. How's that sound?
Yep, that sounds good.
Marquette first half plus a half, minus 105. All right, keep hammering away.
Yeah, no, I'm done with my additions now.
Done with your additions. Okay, I'm about to tail 2 looks on your card, but there's some very interesting games that we want to talk about here, Max. First off, let's talk about Indiana, Penn State. Sorry, let me just... Okay, I'm stuck here on the southeastern Louisiana Lions versus Central Arkansas Bears. Damn, okay, my computer's a little frozen here, moving very quickly. We heard that Teddy was interested in Penn State minus the points. What do you think about this spot?
Yeah, this is a spot where I think that you got to look at Penn State. Not a spot that's going to make my card or that I have really a good lean to, but just from a watching perspective, I think that when you look at Lamar Stevens, you look at this emerging backcourt and developing backcourt for Penn State. At their home gym, they're just a different animal. I don't really have the numbers in front of me to back that up, but for my estimations, you take Indiana at home and you take Penn State at home. So go with the home team there.
All right, we have some questions.
Not that tangible.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you. We have some questions coming in, Max. Let's get to them right now. The first question is from our guy, Reese, wondering about backing Dayton first half against Duquesne. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that by the numbers, it's a play that makes sense. We've seen Dayton be in the lead at halftime, I believe only 2 every game except for 2 so far this year. My other thing that I like about that play is Duquesne has sort of been fading. I think that now that they've gone into the really meaty part of the schedule when it comes to the conference schedule, they've started to show where they have some weaknesses. And in this spot, I think that there is value on taking Dayton first half rather than full game, keeping in mind that Duquesne isn't going to really ever have a real home court advantage because they're playing at different arenas each game.
All right, more questions coming in. The next is from our guy, Trot Wham. Wham Bam, your friend and mine. What do you think about his look? He's interested in Northern Iowa over at home against Missouri State. Open at 136, now up to 138 or 138.5. Should he pull the trigger on this over?
When I look at that Northern Iowa team, I think that when they're playing a team like Missouri State, they don't want to get into a kind of rock fight. They have the personnel and the shooting to be able to really take it to them. I think it suits them to be more in the range of 75 points. I would support making a play on this over. I'd also be looking at a first half team total on Northern Iowa, just something that correlates with it, because I think that you're going to get a good impression of what you're going to expect full game by the first half. And I think that Northern Iowa, by my numbers, is definitely worthy of being this double-digit favorite. So I like the over. I think that's going to be Northern Iowa tempo. And if you can get under 143, if you can get anything under 143, I think that you have a lot of value there on that number.
All right, there you have it. There you have it, Trotwham. And Trotwham, we miss you on the show. We'd love to have you on the show more. Trotwham. All right, next up is from Barry McCockner. Wants to know about Oklahoma, this Oklahoma spot. Let's take a look at it right now. Oklahoma at Kansas State. Open as a pick'em. Kansas State now 1 or 1.5 point favorites in this total around 134. What do you think of this spot, Max?
Yeah, I'm sorry. This is not a spot that I really looked at. It's kind of a spot that I struggle with Kansas State. I'd be looking at the under, but I didn't research it enough to be able to give you an educated analysis.
Kanaskat is wondering if Citadel overs are still a play that we should be making.
I would have said it last night when it was at 147, 148, but at 153, now you're testing danger. We've seen Wofford really slow it down to literally a rock pace. I don't even know what the words that I can use for it without swearing, so I struggled there. But pretty much with Wofford, I'm not confident that they're going to play Citadel's tempo. I think that they're the type of team that really gets back in transition and can stop and limit some of these runouts that Citadel gets. This could be the game that it goes under. So at 153, I think that the number's been missed. And against this particular opponent, it doesn't inspire me to jump on it at 153.
Our guy Cuban Connect out of Miami wondering what you think about this total in Chattanooga-Sanford. You've capped this game big with Chattanooga. What do you think of this total that's gone from 147.5 to 148?
Yeah, I think that it's a good number. I think that with any game with Sanford, with the way that like Josh Sharkey and Brandon Austin and Robert Allen can score the basketball, you definitely have two teams that can contribute to that total. I think that you're getting a little bit of value. I had this game lined at 150.5, so not enough for me to make a play on it, but I do think that it ends up above 150.
Nothing ordinary. Our guy, he's doubled up on Chattanooga first half and full game, and I'm about to tail. I just haven't locked it in yet. I'm about to tail, though. Great to see you. Nothing ordinary sports in the house. Okay, the next up is with our guy Cuban Connect. He's wondering what you think about this Western Carolina UNC Greensboro over. That's gone from 146.5 up to 148.
Yeah, this is a spot where I'm a little hesitant to give out a play because if I say over, well, then that correlates with Western Carolina being able to have their type of tempo and cover that spread. It's a spot that I think that the winner of the game gets their tempo and therefore dictates whether it goes over or under.
Next up is a question from our Neil P. wondering about what you think of this Valparaiso Bradley spot. Bradley opening up at 6.5, now down to -5.5, and this total's dropped 4.5 or 5 points from an opener 143 down to 138.5 or 139. What do you think of this Valparaiso Bradley spot?
Yeah, it's a spot that I look under. I think that with all Bradley games, without a full offensive lineup for them, I think that that's the way that I look. Obviously, there are some injury issues with this team, with Darryl Brown, with Elijah Childs. So once I know what the status of Darryl Brown is, then I'll be able to make a play on it. But my initial leans were to Valparaiso under, just because when I look at some of these over-under margins for Bradley and for Valparaiso is going under on the road. They're going under by double digits on the road. Their unders are, excuse me. And when you look at Bradley, a lot of these games against some of these slower tempo teams or less efficient offensive teams have been going under also. So I point to a game like the Southern Illinois game where the total finished 8.5 points under the closing line. This is a spot where I'd probably take Bradley and Valparaiso under, and then I'd probably sell 2 or 3 points and get a plus price as well. So once I know if Darryl Brown is playing, he's probable, but we never know with these college basketball injuries until closer to game time. 2
more questions, Max, and then we'll go to the best bet. First question from Dennis Legendary, wondering what you think about this Vanderbilt Kentucky spot. Kentucky, 13th ranked Kentucky opening up at -21 point favorites. That's down to 20.5. This total's dropped 2.5 points from 144 to 141.5. Max, Vanderbilt, Kentucky.
Yeah, when I saw this number, it was an instant pass. I'm not interested in playing either side of the number and trying to determine if Vanderbilt's going to be able to score on Kentucky's transition defense. So it was a pass. Sorry about that.
Matt Randall wondering what you think about Hartford. Says, my numbers have Hartford at 6, but not confident yet to pull the trigger. Hartford -8 at home against Binghamton.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're looking at this number, when has Hartford been a favorite like this? It doesn't really make sense. Hartford's a team that I know that we both like to hit as a dog. And in this situation, you're going up against Sam Sessoms and George Tinsley, who are two very nice inside-out pieces for Binghamton. They're capable of outright winning this game by my estimations. So I'd be looking at Binghamton on the spread. That's the only way.
The only way. Now we get into Max's look on the play of the day, of which he's hit 5 out of his last 6. Max, take it away. What is today's play of the day?
So obviously the cat's already out of the bag with this game. We're going to go to the Cal Baptist Utah Valley game. So hopefully if I'm having a nice day, we'll be able to seal it off with a nice bit of cake. When I look at this Cal Baptist team, what do I see? I see impressive guard play. I see guys that can get started early. I see guys that take it to the bucket. They are smart basketball offensive players, and it starts with Ferron Flavors, starts with Brandon Boyd, starts with Milan Akua. I already spoke about the emergence now of Zach Parag. He is finally getting a little more offensive touches in good situations and in good spots on the floor. I think that this Cal Baptist team has a score to settle with Utah Valley. Although this is a different roster, a different coach team, I think it's time for them to insert their dominance. Brandon Everett and TJ Washington are great players for Utah Valley. I'm not saying that they are going to get blown out by any means, but this is a Utah Valley team that starts slow. They're only scoring 27 points in first halves during the conference season. I think that Cal Baptist, they get to 40 points. And I think that this is going to be an up and down game. I think that Utah Valley is going to struggle to keep up with Cal Baptist. And I think that this is an easy play, just like that first half by the numbers in the Syracuse play. When I looked at the numbers, there was a large discrepancy. The same characteristics are happening in this Cal Baptist play. So as soon as I did the research, this was the play that was chosen, and let's keep on riding a hot streak on the play of the day because we need that. So Cal Baptist, first half, plus half a point or plus a point, doesn't really matter.
All right, let's grab Cal Baptist first half for Max, and we are getting, the best we can get for plus a half. I mean, the pick'em's minus 109 at best, so plus a half point at minus 115 at Bet365.
Oh, no. Give me the 109 at pick'em then.
Okay, we have Cal Baptist first half, minus 109. There we go. First half, minus 109. Okay, I am going to roll with 6 plays, but 2 are double ups. I'm on Chattanooga first half minus 1.5. Chattanooga full game minus 3. That's at minus 110, minus 105. I'm taking Marquette first half plus a half at minus 110. Full game plus 1.5 at minus 102. I just jumped on the Cal Baptist first half minus 109. That is the play of the day from our very own Maxwell Smart. The other man on a heater is Matt Randall. As always, Taint is hitting. He is on this over at Sam Houston State, and I'm going to run with his over as well. Let's grab it right now. The Sam Houston over. Sorry, making moves here very quickly on the best odds page on the planet. This over opened up at 133.5. It's now down to 132 at Pinnacle. Texas A&M, Corpus Christi, and Sam Houston State. Sorry, let me make sure this is the... All right, there we go. And let me just grab this. Sam over 132 at minus 112. There we have it. Let's review Max's action here very quickly. Cal Baptist first half minus 109 is the play of the day, of which he's hit 5 of his last 6. Marquette first half plus a half at minus 105. Baylor first half minus 2, minus 105. Navy first half minus 6 at minus 113. Vermont minus 10 at minus 110. Baylor minus 4 at minus 105. Chattanooga first half minus 1.5 at minus 110. Chattanooga minus 2.5 minus 109. Monmouth plus 2 at minus 106. And UNC Greensboro minus 3.5 at minus 1. 107. That's Max's action. Let's look at other Cats action here. Reese thinking about that Dayton first half at -4.5. Big Ragu is on the Marquette money line. We went over Teddy Covers, Super Bowl props. Zion points against Mostert carries. Under 2.5 players to attempt to pass. Damian Williams over 29.5 receiving yards. Total punts under 7.5, which I may tail now. I may tail that one and add to my third prop. Garoppolo overs in a bunch of different ways. Longest TD over, shortest TD under. Yes on 2-point attempt. That's another one I find very interesting. Punt before they score. No score first 5 minutes and 7 minutes. He's interested in Penn State minus the points. Alabama plus the points. Prince of the City got me on the Kyrie prop. Matt Randall, Taint play today. Sam Houston State over 133. He's also on Chattanooga -3, Seton Hall -10, MSU -17, and Houston ECU under 142.5. Under 142.5. Sammy B in the house. Looking at Utah -5, Memphis -2.5, and OKC -3. Illwise play of the day is Alabama +5. Lamont Williams coming off a parlay casher himself is parlay today. LSU -2, Dayton -8.5, San Diego State -11. Trotwams on OKC -3 and Memphis -2.5. Mark Unka for play of the day. He hit it yesterday. Is on Baylor -3.5. Baylor at -3.5. And we want to give a big shout out to Coactus. AM Plus Money's mom, who caps with us. Coactus' birthday today. Coactus, the birthday play of the day from Max is Cal Baptist first half on the money line at -109. And from me, the play of the day is Kyrie Irving over 25.5 points. That's at -115 right now at Bet365. I'm on 3 looks in NHL. Flames under 6 at -103. I already made the move on the Lightning Kings under 6 at -104, and I pulled the trigger on the Dallas Stars -115. I'm also on the OKC -3. I'm interested in that Bulls spot. I still am, and I may make a move later, but I did take that Kyrie Irving prop. And that is the show, my friends. And Guru says, if you don't read mine, you should be let go. I thought I did. I thought I copied and pasted your action too. All right. I thought I should. Okay. He is liking Duquesne. Man, he is also saying, looking at Guru's other looks on this card, saying if you play after a 5-point move, you should quit gambling. That's from our Guru Sports.
It wasn't my 5G internet.
Oh, wait. Okay, we're back. Thank you guys so much. Sorry about that little lag there. On behalf of Parlay Poppy, Teddy Covers, Maxwell Smart, and myself, thank you so much for watching. Please hit the link at the bottom of the screen, www.sbrvideo.com/thebag. Like and subscribe. And Maxwell Smart, will you please lecture us into the future?
Of course. Leche a los bookmaker!